Denouncing today's Pharisees and Sadducees. In Matthew 23, Jesus said, "Both world and religious leaders occupy positions of authority. Therefore, whatever they tell you to observe, that observe and do. Because failing to do so, they will deal with you. They are always making promises that they will never fulfill. And they are good in preaching, but never practice what they preach. They say one thing and do the other. But if you disobey them, that promise they will keep. They will deal with you. They fasten heavy loads that are hard to carry and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not even lift a finger to move them. They make laws that favor us and protect them and enforce them on the poor and the weak, for they do not want to see you awaken and rising from the ashes.
And rising from the ashes.
And rising from the ashes.
They are making sure you remain at their mercy so that you will worship them, eating from the master's table. You can only rise if they say rise. You are so smart that you have created us your modern slaves and made us to believe it is all for our own good. They do all their works to be seen by men. They always want to appear as to being caring and giving from their abundance of riches to the poor and needy, as though they are serving the interest of the people. They love spotlights. They love to be seen to be doing something. They love applause. It is always about them, always appearing to be wise and learned, boastful with their academic achievements, dressed in expensive fancy fashions and religious robes just to impress their followers. They want to be respected for what they wear, drive, and who they are associated with. They are a bunch of pretenders and hypocrites. They love places of honor, always in front seat in events and prominent seats in churches. And they love being called honorable by men who do not want to be called honorable, for you have one honorable, the man Christ, and you are all brothers. And call no man on earth your father, for you have one Father who is in heaven. Nor be called teachers, for you have one teacher, and that is Christ. He who is great among you shall be your servant, for he who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. Woe to you, world and religious leaders, hypocrites! You shut the kingdom of heaven against men, for you neither enter yourself, nor allow those who are entering to go in. You will make sure they do not see nor enter the kingdom of God. You would rather keep them in politics and religiosity, just to ensure that they are at your mercy. Woe to you, world and religious leaders, hypocrites! You devour widows' houses. You made them to trust you and pretend to be for them, and yet you are using them for your own agendas. You are content to see them widows because you have taken their husbands away. You have destroyed all men in their homes, and therefore soon you will receive the greater condemnation. Woe to you, world and religious leaders, hypocrites! You have traveled sea and land just to make one follower of your deceit, and when he becomes one, you make him twice as much a son of hell as yourselves. You have corrupted the poor people of God. You have made them to believe when they turn against one another, they are quick-witted with intelligence. You have turned them loyal to you, your politics and false beliefs. You have turned them to lovers of money and made them to believe greed is a good thing. You have made them brutally cynical, that they do not care whom they hurt so long as they make money. You have turned the house of God into a den of thieves, proud to call church the business. You blind fools! You have neglected the weightier matters of the law, justice, mercy, and faith. This you have ought to have done without leaving the other undone. Not that we expect you to understand God's truth and justice. You blind guides making big issues small and small issues big just to suit you and your agendas. You are as corrupt as your people. You lie to the people and to one another. You get away with everything. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! You cleanse the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they are full of extortion and greed, always threatening the poor and the weak to do anything that you want. You have succeeded in making them feel inferior and at your mercy, and making them believe that you are their Messiah sent to save them. Always have interior motives for everything you do. You blind Pharisees, first cleanse the inside of the cup that the outside may also be cleaned. Woe to you, Pharisees and Sadducees! You are like whitewashed tombs, which indeed appear beautiful outside, but inside are full of dead men's bones and all uncleanness. You are worse than them criminals held in your prison cell because you have murdered the whole society, conditioned them to believe incredulous. Pity that to them you appear outwardly righteous, but inside you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Woe to you, world and religious leaders, hypocrites! You are sons of those who murdered the prophets. You serpents, you generation of vipers, how can you escape the judgment of hell? Therefore I send you prophets and wise men and scribes. Some of them you will kill and crucify, and some you will scourge in your courts and synagogues and persecute them from city to city. Woe to you, world and religious leaders!